I want to congratulate you on all of the accolades you've been racking up lately. You got an award for
Eminent influence, community influence, influencing all the people on social media and beyond.
I really been thinking about legacy.
Legacy to me looks like me being able to leave a lasting impression on people who I've never spoken to in real life.
Legacy means I'm just clearing space for people to be able to accomplish goals. I want to be the man next to the man. Never want to be president, but I want to be the man next to the president. Let him know, like, that's not a good idea. What's up, yo? Welcome to season 3 of Care to Elaborate podcast with Taylor and Travarus. I'm your host, Travarus, and I'm here with my co-host, Taylor, and I'm going to embarrass you for a second. I want to congratulate you on all of the accolades you've been racking up lately. Number one, you got an award for, what did you get an award for?
Eminent influence, community influence, influencing all the people on social media and beyond.
That is amazing. Who gave that to you? What organization?
The Watati organization, they are a nonprofit based out of the DMV focusing on empowering the next generation by teaching them financial literacy, amongst a whole bunch of other skills as well.
So to be celebrated by your peers and those who are maybe even a bit older than you is amazing. And also, you have gotten a promotion at work.
Woo! Yes, thank
That's
you, Jesus.
fire. Those things don't come very often. So major congratulations for those two things. And I wanted to start with that because season 3, we want to talk about all of the things, not just to come up, but how we got here, the things that we are trying to accomplish. And I'm going to ask you how you are, but just give me a second. I want to start something new in terms of what Care to Elaborate stands for. People may ask you, what is Care to Elaborate? I think Care to Elaborate is a place where we come to thrive, survive, and question everything we've been taught in terms of how we got to where we are. So, with that said, we're going to talk about today, was the dream even mine? Meaning, the space that you're in now, how did we even arrive here? Is the vehicle that you're on, the trajectory that you're on, is it even your vision? And I think that's Taylor and I want to unpack that. But now I want to get to the space where I ask you, how are you doing?
Well, first, before talking about how I am, we should also congratulate you. You are now a father of 2, which is, ooh, Lord,
I know.
it's getting serious over there in the
I know.
in your household. Like, oh
It
my God,
is.
yeah.
It is. We
Whew.
my wife gave birth to our son about 4 weeks ago. So he is, man, he's amazing. My daughter is the best big sister. The family unit as we know it is complete. There will be no more kids in the Fauntleroy household. This is it. We are done. But it's amazing to think about everything that we went through. This was the last time. It's the last time we have a baby in the house at this hour. It's the last time we're gonna do the diaper thing, and like the last time we have to, So once he is at least 2, the way my daughter is now, it's like, yeah, those days of crawling and stuff is over. But it gives us the chance to like soak it in, which is pretty cool.
Y'all can always have another one if you miss it.
Nope,
Okay.
nope.
All
I'm
right.
trying to get this snip visit
I
ASAP.
was up there. You snip.
Yeah. The one thing I will 100%. The one thing I will say, men, if you're listening, hear me out. My wife is giving birth naturally, no medicine, to 2
Woo!
children. I know.
No
She's a beast.
epidural?
None. She's a beast. She's a beast.
Oh, sorry. Ooh.
She's a beast. So,
Shout out to her.
2 children naturally, and it is our decision to wrap the family unit up to have, a family of 4, 2 kids. How would I, as a man, want my wife to go through more trauma to get her tubes tied
Mm-hmm.
when I can have a minimally invasive surgery and I'm back to normal? I can play basketball in 2 days. To me, it's a no-brainer.
Preach.
It's a no-brainer. Like, I'll take the L. It's not even an L. I have a little groin pain for an hour, a couple hours. Like, it's nothing. I'll take that in order for
No,
us to, yeah,
Travarus is a real man. Shout out to all the real men out there. The men that still protect, provide, all that. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, man. This to me is common sense, but just a public service announcement. If you honor your wife in the way that she's brought kids into this world, just take the L. You know what I mean? Just do it yourself. No need
It's a
to.
minimal L.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Not
It's
even an
literally
L.
nothing. It's not.
Really a W.
It's actually a W. It's actually a W for way more money that I'm keeping in my pocket by not having more kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
I
glad you
know.
know. Love that.
But this is the beauty of the generational differences between you and I, because Taylor's
Hmm.
looking at me like,
2
Mm-mm.
kids? I don't even look, it's about gonna be about another 6 years before I even have 1, if that.
And I think it's fire. I had my first daughter at 35, and I think I love that. Like, I had my time, and now this is the space where we're really doing the family thing. And I have I'm mimicking like a summer camp schedule for Taylor so we can make sure that she gets outside, she, goes to the store, and like I bought her a big bounce house so she can have some fun in the backyard. So like I'm enjoying this space, but I cannot say that I would have enjoyed this space right now 10 years ago. Let's get into what we want to start season 3 off with. With me having our second kid, I really want to been thinking about legacy. And for me, I come from a two-parent household. Neither one of my mom or dad didn't go to college. My mom had all the aspirations of going to college, but she didn't make it. Taylor is also someone who comes from a strong educational background. With your mother having her master's degree, you say your mom?
She tried to get the master's degree. Did she ever get it? No. She
But she
has a
tried.
there's a whole thing there. She has a superstition about that. She said every time she's tried to get her master's degree, someone died, so then she just stops trying to get it.
Yo,
That's what she
and I ain't
told
gonna
me.
lie. I ain't gonna lie.
However, I will be getting mine, so I'll make
Yeah.
up for it.
So with that said, as you come from a strong educational background, and we want to think about, we've been thinking about whose dream is it? Who put this idea in our heads that 1, 2, and 3 have to be checked off? I have a master's degree, but my idea was just go to undergrad, check that off, and then get whatever a good job is, right? But would I still be here if I didn't have that influence from my mom in order to make that happen? So the first thing I want to ask you, Taylor, is what did making it look like when you were a kid, and who put that picture in your head?
This is a great question. So, for those who don't know, I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama, which Birmingham does not have a lot of like big industry, a lot of Fortune 500 companies. So when it came to the idea of making it, like making it to me meant being able to own something for myself because that's what I saw. I come from a family of small business owners. My dad has run our family small business for basically nearly all of his life now. My grandfather started our family business in the 1950s or something like that. Like it's been around for
Wow,
over 70 years. So making it to me looked like having something to call my own because again, I didn't really know a lot of people in corporate America. My mom is a teacher. I knew I definitely did not want to do that. Shout out to the teachers though.
shout out to the teachers.
Yeah, I think my parents didn't try to put anything into my mind that I didn't want to be. But whenever I would think about what I wanted to do, I started realizing that whatever it was at the core of it, it was always ownership, me having ownership of it myself. So, for
That's fire.
example, like I started with saying I wanted to own a restaurant, and then I wanted to be a doctor and have my own practice. And then I wanted to start a small business, which I did in the pandemic. And now I want to start like a nonprofit or something like that. So it's always at the core has been ownership and having something that is Taylor Falls LLC or whatever the case. That is what making it look like to me.
That's fire. It's like you had both examples. You've had the entrepreneurial route, but you also had the more traditional route that we've been taught as to what is the right way to go. So that's fire.
Shout out to all the people out there. What did making it look like to you, Travaris? I would love to ask that question back to you.
Man, so whatever the word comfortable means, I
Mm,
remember I had an idea of so I grew up in what you consider the hood, right? But my mom and dad always made it so that me and my sister had everything we needed. But we didn't have like this is gonna sound silly, but we didn't have like a plushy rug. We didn't have like a backyard or like we just lived in apartments until I was in high school. So I used to go to my aunt's house, and my aunt's house I thought was just the biggest house ever. Like everything was so white and new, and like it always felt like way bigger and broader. I was like, when I grow up, I want to be able to have a house, right? And I always thought in terms of comfort. Never thought about career. I just always thought in terms of comfort. Come to find out, I talked to my aunt when I went to Afrotech in November. That shit was a townhouse. It wasn't even a home, but I remember thinking about it being so big, and I was like, no, 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 no. We talk about the same house. She's like, that was a townhouse. I'm like, damn. So to me, making it meant like having a place that that like a home where you can raise a family. But I did not think about career for the most part. I always thought about like
Mm.
what it looked like.
So let's talk about that a little bit deeper. So you didn't necessarily think about career, but you might have thought about college. So was college
Absolutely.
your dream, or was it something that your family was like, you have to do this and it's non-negotiable? What did that look like?
Very similar to you, where you said nothing was put on me that I didn't want on myself. When I went to college, my personal statement was about how at 5, I told my mom I'm going to college. But that is because from 0 to 4, my mom was like, "You're going to college. You're going to college." So like, my mom sacrificed a lot for me. She was supposed to go to the Navy. She got into Spelman. She got to a couple other colleges, but she had me at 19, which means that she got pregnant at 18. So that was like right around senior year in high school. So all of those dreams kind of just got funneled to me. So it was definitely like you're going to college, but I internalized it. What you don't know about our words that we speak is that thoughts become things, and if you say it enough, then it really becomes a thing. I didn't know at 5 that me saying I'm going to college was going to manifest into me going to college, but it made it so that that was the case. Yes, college was a non-negotiable. I knew that I was going even before I knew what college was, for sure.
Man was out here saying he was going to college, can't even spell it.
Can't even not at all, at all. But another thing is when it comes to career, college pursuits, we always talk to chase something, right? Whether it's chase money, it's chase a career path. You mentioned being a doctor, being a restaurant owner. These things require you to chase it. What were you trying to chase when you were younger? And was that something that you developed, or was it something that you observed and were inspired by?
This is a good question. I think the biggest thing for me is I've always been chasing success.
Success.
No matter what that looked like. So again, I didn't necessarily have a core definition of what success looked like to me long term. I just
Mm-hmm.
knew that okay, the dream is right now that I need to make sure that I get these grades to get a full ride to college. The
Yeah.
dream is now I need to make sure I get this internship to get a full-time job. The dream is I get the full-time job. Like
The
when it
dream
came
evolves. The dream
the dream evolves
evolves.
over
Yeah.
time. And so I think it was a combination of two things. Like the dream did chase me because I do feel like I was very blessed and I happened to be in a lot of the right spaces at the right time. But I
Yeah.
also had to, do the work and hear all the insights and thoughts and many things from my parents to also like push me to get to that point. So I to me it was a combination of the two. But I will say that my parents played a heavy role in like me being the person that was actively ambitious and striving for new and different things all the time
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't settle for any type of mediocrity. They don't do that.
I love that, but I also want to make sure that we reiterate the fact that the dream did chase you, but also, you speak about your mentors. You speak about the opportunities that you sought that were in front of you that weren't as easy to get. I make fun of you for having 19,000 internships, but you had to go get those things. So I think once you get the ball rolling in terms, you get the momentum, and this is for everything in life. Once you continue to get the momentum, you get good at something, then it begins to chase you. That's when it begins to, right. But you have to put the work in order to get the ball rolling, and then you get to the point where you done roll this ball up the hill so much, you're like, this ball's too big. It's gonna start falling the other way, and it's gonna chase you.
Mhm.
So I want to make sure that I reiterate that, like, although the dream did chase you, you also put a lot of work in for that to happen.
And I love that you mentioned that because I feel like once you, to your point, once you get to a certain point, like the opportunities just I don't want to say fall out of the sky, but like they low key do.
Yeah.
And that's why I speak so much about personal brand building, about visibility, about all of these things, because me doing all that work and setting myself up for success, starting in high school, working my way through college, has allowed me to get to a point in my life today where the dreams are starting to chase me. Now they can run a little fast, the dreams. A little bit. Okay, go down the hill a little faster. But they are starting to chase me, and I'm ecstatic, excited, all of the adjectives to see how this continues to evolve because I'm just getting started.
It's something I just realized. is that some of the work that you do actually inspires me too.
Not I'm
Mhm.
inspiring the millennials, period. Not tell the people about that. Like I want to hear this.
Because there's certain, when we first met, I would give you ideas that I used to implement, but seeing you reminds me that I reduced velocity a lot because life happened, right?
Yeah, you got
And
kids.
I mean, yes, yes, but before that, I deprioritized some of the things that helped me to build my personal brand. When I met you, I was
Mhm.
probably way more active on LinkedIn than I am now, or even I've been in the last year. And I've seen that my brand, I'm not gonna say take a hit because it's not in that regard at all. But it's I lost momentum. But
Mhm.
seeing you continue to go and continue for that ball to get bigger inspires me to continue to like I gotta get back. It's not about the tools. It's not about the ability. It's about the just the doing, right? It's just the
Mhm. The action.
continuing to put one foot in front of the other. And one thing that I'm navigating this season in my life is it's not enough to know. It's not enough to know. It is, and you have to do, and you have to do. And people, there's always folks that are like, yeah, I know, I know, I know. How much do you know before you do, right? So seeing you continue to ascend and do amazing things inspires me to kind of to keep going and to keep achieving as well.
Oh, this made my day, Travaris. Look, I now I feel like I need to go grind it out to keep on keeping on so that you can also feel inspired to keep on. We got to keep
Yeah,
on
not
together.
you are doing what you need to do. And oftentimes people are the most inspired when you don't know who's watching.
Mm,
So nah, you're doing the right thing.
I appreciate that. That made my day.
Anytime.
That made my day. So, okay, let's talk about you and your college experience a little bit more because you mentioned
Yeah.
that your mother didn't go to college. Did your father go to college?
Nah.
Okay, your father also didn't go to college. So, you are what we would call a first gen college student.
Hmm.
So you're first gen. Now you have your own kids that you're raising that will eventually grow up to make their own decisions someday. So, in that vein, how do you make sure that you're not projecting what you dream onto your kids? Because I feel like that's a big thing where parents have to kind of delineate like when they are projecting versus when they're allowing their kids to make decisions themselves with a little bit of assistance.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Because when you don't have kids, you have all these ideas of what you have two trains of thought. One idea is for me, I saw what other parents did that was like, I'll never do that to my kids. Right. But sometimes it's so inherent and ingrained in you, you don't even know what you're doing. You just see the outcome, and
Mm,
the outcome ends up being not favorable. Or you have the other train of thought where you want your kids to be so much better than you for so long that you just may push them in a direction that you're not even conscious of. What
mm.
I want to do, and I hope I stick to this, I want to provide opportunities and put them in front of them and see what sticks. The difference, my dad tells me when he met Taylor, well, not when he met Taylor, but now that he's seeing her develop, he's like, this is how you were. This is exactly how you were. Like just the things that we were watching and seeing and how smart she is, like, that was you. And I told myself, if my daughter in 2025 was me when I was born, I underachieved because my daughter is a superstar.
She is very
She
smart.
will be whatever she decides to be, and she'll do it with grace in class. And I just see that. But that means that like my mom and dad didn't have the resources for me to take advantage of. They may have known how smart I was, but they didn't know where to put me. We have resources. Whereas if my daughter is showing talent in this area, if she's showing musical talent, I'm gonna buy a piano.
Period.
If she's showing talent in this area, we're going to put her in those positions. So what I want to do for my kids is to provide opportunity and to see what sticks, and also build that foundation of education being very, very important. So I'm hoping I don't become one of those parents that are, pushing, even with me playing basketball, like my friends is like, oh, your boy gonna be a ball player. I hope so. Or is my son gonna be a capper? I hope so. But I will not push it on him. I want to make it so that he has the opportunity to learn from it and say, because my dad did it, I want to do it. But I don't want to do it because I don't want to push it on him and just say, because I did it, you should. You know what I mean?
And I A big thing that I want to call out is the fact that you talked about resources because
Yes.
times are different, times have changed. And I do appreciate the fact that you said, like, if your children show interest in something, you will provide that for them. And maybe you provide it and they like, I really don't mess with this. And then it's on to the next thing. I think, enough parents don't allow their children to diversify
Yeah.
what they do and what they're interested in. And so I appreciate the fact that you're like, yeah, my kids can try it out, and if they don't like it, they can do something else, and they don't have to be like me. And that's a big thing that I
Yeah.
appreciated from my parents too. Is like you use the example of like a Kappa. My mom is a Delta. I told her I'm not doing that, and she was like, okay. So I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
And even with that being said, I'm not going to be disappointed in the direction. I'm going to trust in the fact that we've provided our kids with everything they need in order to make the right decisions. So even if the decision is what we want, I'm going to have to be okay with the decision that they've made, because here's another thing. I'll make a quick pivot. I work in the talent acquisition space, working with interns, young people. I love hearing their stories because it informs me what their parents did right.
Mm.
What did their And a lot of what I hear is, I tried this sport, tried that sport, I tried this summer camp, I tried that summer camp, and this is what stuck. So it tell me that, like, if you limit the opportunity that your kids have, or the exposure that your kids don't have, they don't even know what's good. They don't even know what they're good at, because their exposure was limited. So I want to expose our kids to a very I'm I knew kids. I met people in college that were fencers. They got a fencing scholarship. What? Only
That
fence
is
I knew was a
so
chain link fence around a basketball court.
all right.
So, but people, their parents expose them to different things. You know what I mean? I think that's pretty dope. But with that being said, a question for you: with your background, when did the bar get set, and what was that bar? Like, was your ceiling? I'm sorry, was your baseline your parents' ceiling, so to speak? Like,
Mm.
is it so that when your parents got to a certain level, your job was to start there and take it forward, or was the bar set somewhere else where you could start and make it your own?
This is a good question. I feel like so there is someone who has an influential impact outside of my parents who I have not yet mentioned. And I think I need to start with her for you to understand a little bit more of the story.
Okay.
So my aunt, who God rest her soul, she was one of the people who really just ingrained like all the stuff in me around like education. You need to go do this. You need to go do that. She was introducing me to all these people who were politicians doing all these things in the community. And to
Big dog.
me, big dog. To me, her ceiling was my starting place.
Mm,
Like, I'm grateful for my parents, and again, they did encourage me, they gave me so much support, but when I think of, like, the person who truly was like, "You gonna go get it," that was my auntie. My auntie did everything in her power as a aunt, as a great aunt at that. She was a great aunt,
mm,
to set me up for success to see how far I could go. So when I think of where I started and like what that looked like from her perspective, I definitely started from her ceiling.
mm,
She basically told me that I could do anything in my power and that she would support me through all of it. And she again gave me all the tools, all the resources, all the connections, all the whatever that I would need to get to that next place because she had the tools, she had the resources, but at the time, I mean, growing up in Birmingham in the 50s and 60s, she didn't really necessarily know how to use this stuff. By the time that she
right.
was equipped with the knowledge on what to do, who to meet, by that point, she had already had her own family. She already had different things going on that kind of stifled that growth for her. And so
Yeah.
she poured the rest of that information into me, and I took it from there and kept going.
Oh, that's
Similarly, like
amazing.
the
That's
conversation
fire.
you said about your mom, like how your mom had all this stuff going for her, and then she kind of had to put it to the side, but she fed that stuff into you.
Yeah. With and unselfishly,
Yes,
right? Because
unselfishly.
even those who we admire don't always give you the information willingly. Some people want to make you earn it, but shout out to your aunt.
My aunt wrote the playbook. and then put it and plastered it everywhere that I could see it.
You can't thank those people enough. That is an intentional thing where she saw you and wanted to make sure that you had all the tools that you needed to achieve. And even post her passing, you were still living up to that.
Shout out to her, girl. If you hear me, shout out to you. Period. But yeah, that was definitely where I've started and where I will continue to grow. So I wanna talk. We're really on the topic of like elders. I'm talking about my aunt. You talked about your parents. I also
Mhm.
mentioned mine. And we just talked about the idea of starting from a place and going to a next place.
You're right.
So one thing that we don't talk about enough, I feel like, especially in the Black community, and we did a previous episode on this. So if you go back and watch it, is the idea of celebration and celebrating
Yeah.
not only others' successes but our own successes. I mean, it's really difficult to really sit down and celebrate your accomplishments at times. So what's something your parents or your elders celebrated, but you knew deep down that it wasn't a win for you personally? And also in that vein, was it not a win for you or were you just being hard on yourself?
I would say high school graduation, maybe
Mm,
even college, where it's like my goal and my mission is this is not my crowning jewel. This is expected, but it meant so much to those around me. High school graduation literally felt like another day at school. It wasn't a we didn't go to dinner after. It's just like this is what I'm supposed to do. Like if I have
mm.
any goals in life, I'm supposed to do this. College graduation felt like I don't know what to do now because my whole life has been go to college, graduate. We never talked about what happens after. Now my grad school graduation, that was for me. That was mine. And I really felt that and I lived up to that. But yeah, my college and high school graduation felt like routine. Like I had to do this. Was I being hard on myself? Probably. I have this thing where I'm talking to my dad, and like I said, what I'm talking about these days is this season that I'm in is different. Maybe because I had another kid, but for the better part of the last 10 years, I've been operating at 150%. And the closer
That's
I
a lot
get
of
to
percent for that for a
100%,
long time.
no, it is. And the closer I get to 100%, the more regular I feel. And I'm allergic to regular.
You hate regular.
I hate it. I hate it. But that's a mindset shift that I have to make, and I'm perpetually hard on myself. And I think that's what that I'm able to achieve. So yeah, I think that I was being hard on myself, but I think that helped me to propel and to really take it to the next step. You know what I mean?
And what you just mentioned about being 150%, I mean, yes, Travaris, you have been that for the past 10 years, but just because, you've been 150% in your job and doing all this, now you can be 150% as a parent and you can give 100% to your job or whatever the split needs to be. But I think you're always 150% somewhere.
Yeah, and the actuals is like the last 3 years have been hyperspeed. Not to get too deep, but post my mom passed in 2016, it's been all about making her proud, which is a bag that never ends.
Mm.
Just throwing accolades in and things don't really matter. I got a Hall of Fame situation in my college. I don't even talk about the last 3 years. I bought a house, got married, had two kids at this point, moved cross country. All these things happen in hyper speed for the last 3 years. That's not normal. Eventually, that stuff slows down, and when it slows down, you begin to see things for what they are. And sometimes, when I don't have a whole lot going on, I begin to feel like, what's my purpose? What am I doing? Like, but
I feel
that's
that.
also not normal, right?
Right. That's the
Yeah,
deep vein right there. Cause that
it
I'd
is.
feel the same way. Like you don't really once you've been doing all this stuff, it's not until you really sit down and reflect
Yeah,
that you feel it. And somebody told me I was literally having this conversation last night because I was talking about the fact that how you talked about like your high school graduation being an expectation. That's low key how I feel about anything in my life. Like I
yeah.
know I should celebrate being promoted, but like in my brain, I'm like, what other option was there? Like we can't.
I'm here to achieve. Like,
That's what I'm
I'm here to
saying.
get
Like
it done. Yeah,
yeah, like there was what else were we gonna do? So to me, I was talking to someone about like how I celebrated it, like I knew it was an accomplishment, but at the same time, it felt like an expectation because that's what's always
yeah,
expected of me is like you move up, you do the next big thing.
yeah.
The person was telling me that I need to sit and write down all of my accomplishments from the past 2 to 3 years because obviously I've done something to be able to deserve this.
Yeah. And this is how I know I got real love for you. I am really excited about your accolades. Like I really get excited for the things that you accomplish. But it's way easier for me to be happy for you and even to see where you're going than it is for myself. And that it always happens for me with people that I actually like truly got love for. I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to do X, Y, and Z, right? But I don't see the same for me. I kind of just keep
Mm.
going. But it's the painting that I see for you or the painting that I see for someone else. It's like, oh no, I can see the masterpiece. I see it. Like it's not
It's a
hard for me to
Picasso.
articulate that. 100%. For me, it's just like I got some paint. I got an easel.
I'm like, this is second grade art class for
I'm
myself.
gonna figure this out. I'm gonna throw a little splatter here. I'm gonna throw a little splatter there, and it always ends up being beautiful. But I never can see it as clearly as I can for people that I'm close to.
That makes sense. And again, this goes back to if you haven't watched our episode on self celebration, that's season
Yeah,
1, go check that one out.
that Dom
Go check
Perignon is
that one
still
out.
unpopped. Still,
I was gonna ask you about at this point, you should just wait till I come back to your house because we can drink it together. We got too many things to celebrate between ourselves that
that's a fact.
we need
That's
to
a
pop
fact.
that bottle of champagne. Let's do it.
But in that same vein, you think about self celebration, you think about self worth, you're really thinking about what it means to be your whole self, even before you celebrate or post celebration. I talked about one thing that I took for granted, but what's one thing that you are really proud of, right? Speaking about the advice you just got about just sitting and taking it in, I know that you have accomplished a lot, but what's one thing you can really stand on and say, like, I'm really proud of this?
The one thing that I honestly am really proud of is Tips with Taylor. Like
Mm,
to me, that shit is fire.
yeah, it is.
And there's still much work to do, and I beat myself up over it all the time because while I'm like equally proud of what I've been able to do, I do know that I need to keep going. But what really made me proud is the fact when I'm able to hear students come back to me and tell me like, "Hey, I actually used your advice and that shit
Yeah,
worked and it's been
yeah,
helpful. And I really appreciate you for sharing your story or dropping these tips or like doing whatever." Like when I hear anything related to my advice giving or like me posting on social media and it actually being helpful to people, that's what do it for me.
yeah.
That's better than any promotion, any like I mean, give me the promotion still. I do appreciate the money. Thank you. But like that right there is what makes me feel the most proud out of anything. I mean, one of the interns that we currently have, she recently wrote a message to my manager just saying how just ecstatic, thrilled, happy she was to have been my mentee during her internship and how she learned so much from me and how every conversation was fruitful. And that shit really had me about to tear up. I was like, that is so nice.
But
So
it's
things like
crazy to
that.
be on the other side of that because
Right.
that's what you did.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, wow, this how you feel about me? So anytime I hear anything like that after a conversation or after posting, so whatever the case may be, that is what makes me the most.
It's funny that you mentioned that because that's something that I began to take for granted probably up until like a year and a half ago. I've always been getting I've always gotten that my words impact people. And if you hear it
They
so
do.
much, thank you. When you hear it so much, you kind of just like, oh, that's what's up. Thank you. And not that there was a gap, but after having a kid, things mean more. I don't know what it
Mhm.
was, but like hearing that your impact really helped to make somebody's day better or that your impact made their job easier or that really lands with me in this season of my life more than it did maybe a couple years ago. So I love when people go out their way to send little notes, especially, you know what I mean? Like that really helps so that you never know what somebody's going through. So I do not take those words for granted anymore. And I'm saying that because you're going to continue to get that and try to, you know what I mean? Like internalize all of it because they don't have to do that, you know?
I done got to the point where I started taking screenshots of all of them to look at when I have a
Yeah,
bad day
that's fire.
because
That's amazing.
it's those moments that really, I mean, I just be smiling and I don't even like to smile like that. Look, I just be cheesing all the time. So it's definitely that. Now, I want to ask you about something that I
Okay.
talk and post about all the time. And it's this thing, especially, you know what? And this is a good question specifically for you. Because again, if y'all don't know Travarus's background, Travaris has worked at every doggone big company, probably except Google. At this point, he didn't worked at all the different socials and the techs and the Silicon Valley, all of that. And a lot of times when people work at these big corporations that have these big names, they get confused in the fact of like who they are outside of work. A lot of people, like, people call themselves the Googlers and the all this and all that. But when your title is gone, when your job changes, when depending on what that looks like, whether that's a layoff or you have to do something else, you lose that piece of you. And
Yeah.
now all you've been talking about is being a Googler, and now you're not a Googler anymore. So who are you? So I really want to ask, like, when did you first, or if you ever felt like your job and your identity were getting blurred? And did you like it? Like, what did that feel like to you?
It never got blurred for me.
That makes sense.
Two things. I always feel like an underdog, right? So not quite imposter syndrome, but I always feel like y'all got me fucked up. Always, always.
You do
But also,
always. You
I
stay snake.
do, and it makes me feel like I got a chip on my shoulder. That's number one. But number two, I got to real money at like 30, 31, right?
So definition of real money.
Six figures.
Okay.
I
Got
didn't
it.
I didn't start making six figures until we did this exercise before, but 2019, I
Mm-hmm.
was 32, 33, right? So at that point, I was a pretty settled in who I am and who I was. But what I was able to do is compare and contrast who was embodying the company and being a company man, and I could never identify like with that.
Bleh.
Like, right, like I feel like you you didn't come in the world with that on you. And when people, and this is something that is very very present in the South Bay and San Jose
Mm.
specifically, people ask you, oh, where you work. And I've never wanted to be that person. I always ask, like, where you from? What brought you to California? Questions about you as a human versus like, oh, where you work, because people treat you different
Yeah.
based on where you work.
Here in DC too. They be quick to
And
be like,
it's strange. And those are the people who only identify with those who can help you climb a social ladder. So their
don't be that
lives never
person.
got
That's
right.
weird.
Please don't like just automatically ask somebody like where they work. And the reason why I say I like it being an underdog is because I started my career feeling like I should be way beyond this. So at my starting point, I felt like I was behind. So even now, where I'm in a good place, I still feel like you got me fucked up because I should be further. And I should have had these boxes checked. So it continues to be a driving force for me. I could be CEO and think y'all got me fucked up. So that really helps me to it motivates me because otherwise I got everything. What am I supposed to do when I have everything? I'll never have everything.
And that's somebody had mentioned that to me, the idea of like, when you get so much success, like what do you do? Like once you
Yeah.
reach the pinnacle of success, what success looks like to you, like that's scary because from there, where do you go?
The Diddy trial. You don't see how I made that connection?
Yeah, I don't think I liked it though.
Not
But
the specifics of but when you start doing weird shit, like you start
yeah,
losing focus of the goal. You start to deviate from what
Diddy
you got
trial.
put here for. What do you're not you're here to accomplish, not yeah. Like you don't need the other shit in order to satiate your whatever you got going on. But yeah, man, people start doing weird shit when they reach the pinnacle either too early.
The Diddy trial analogy was crazy, but that's true.
You start doing
Once you
stupid
once
shit.
you reach the top, where can you go but to the bottom?
You go find God. You find
Yeah, look,
go go find
seek
my
Jesus.
man's facts.
Amen.
Yeah, but for you, we've obviously are two black professionals, and we really embrace
Happy
the happy
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
That's when we filming this.
We really want to make sure that we always put on for each other. But for you, as a young black woman, when did you feel like you could take up space and that you can show up fully formed, or do you think you're there yet?
I don't think I don't I've always been there.
Oh, I
Um,
love it. I love it. Say more. Say more.
and this
Where
is
did
not to like
when did you get there?
I think I was born that way. I don't know. Like when people talk about, this idea of not being able to show up like themselves, I do want to, first of all, let me say this. Let me call it the fact that I have been privileged in the way that I have been exposed to various things and in the places that I've worked. So, for a majority of my professional career, which honestly hasn't been long, it's only been like 3, 4 years to be honest, and it's only been 2 years full time. But in a majority of this time in my life, I've worked on teams that are specifically related to diversity. So like, who am I to be preaching diversity at
Yeah,
the company and I
right.
show up and I'm like, "Oh, I can't beat I have to show up as half of myself." That's hypocritical.
But they
Uh,
exist.
the and if they do,
You know them.
anyway, what I'm saying is I have had the privilege to do that and I recognize that not everyone has that same privilege. So, in my personal experience, I've been able to show up fully because at that point like to me, I this and then this goes back to our other episode of code switching. Go watch that one too. I just cannot be half of me. Like
Yeah.
that has never been an option. That's never and I feel like even if I tried to do that, the other half would sneak its way out. Because that's just who I am.
That ain't you. What you doing?
That ain't look, what's going on? Because sometimes I'd be in meetings and I'd be like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, this don't make sense. And I'm like, oh, oops, sure, like, but that's just
Yeah.
who I am. And what I learned was, and what I started recognizing is that I was getting like good attention and
Mhm.
good reviews, all the good things from me being myself. People was like, Taylor is
Yeah.
the person that's gonna say it how it is. Taylor is the person that is gonna advocate for what she believes. Taylor is the person that is going to let us know the truth. Taylor is gonna show up and she's gonna show out every time and show out in a good way. I mean,
But this is funny because this is the same things you said about me season 1. And look at that. In such a short time, you are also embodying the thing that you appreciated.
yeah, I just to because the thing is, once I started hearing everyone say, "Well, oh yeah, Taylor, we love how you Taylor as always, they laughing, they having a great time around Taylor." I said, "Well,
Yeah,
shit,
turn that volume up.
what, what am I come halfway for? What's that
Right.
gonna do for me other than make me feel like I have to come and not be myself?" So
Right.
I encourage everyone if you are in a safe space to do so, because again, that's the thing, to show up as your full self because why people don't people I mean, showing up as half of you, that's a whole nother thing that people deserve to see the real you. People deserve to see the full you. And again, if you're in a space where you feel safe to do that, you should.
I love it. I love it.
I'm showing up as me.
As you should.
Okay. Okay. I know we're coming down the time, but we got some more questions to get to. Now, I want to ask you here, and
Mhm.
you just talked about this, but you didn't provide like an example. So we were
Okay.
talking about how people be like, I work at so and so, and I'm a senior, blah, 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 all this, that, this, and the third. How do you introduce yourself without leading too much into your resume, without it sounding like braggy?
It's funny because I used to have this thing down to a T, and Tiff, my
Not
wife,
you had your pitch.
I had it, but it was like I'm Travarus from New Jersey. I've been in California for X amount of years. I've previously worked in these two industries. I currently work in the tech field. Like that's kind of what that was it. And if it was in a professional setting, but if it was in a social setting, oh, my name is Travarus. I've been in California for yada yada yada. I'm from New Jersey. I had to let people know that I'm not from here. It was the goal. I'm not from here. It was never about what I do. It's like I would rather prefer for you to know more about my background personally than I do for where I work. So, but professionally, it's supposed to be a give and take. You introduce yourself, then I introduce myself, and then we get a little deeper. But I never wanted to lead with like a meta shirts. You know what I mean? Like I felt weird doing that. That's never been something that I wanted to rock out with. How about you in DC? Since it's kind of the same environment, how do you do it?
Normally lead with like, hi, my name is Taylor, and I'm like, I do program management in the tech industry. And then I start talking also about tips with Taylor. My goal is for
Mm,
people to know me as tips with Taylor, not Taylor at tech company. Because
got
Taylor
it.
at tech company can be scratched. That
Right.
not forever. Tips with Taylor lasting long time, long ways. So I always try to tie in the fact that because I'm so passionate about diversity, equity, inclusion, all of the terms, that I also do that in my own fashion, in my own sphere, doing my own thing.
Well, add care to elaborate in there too, just so we can
I
kind of
do.
even
I
more.
also do that. I mentioned our podcast to someone the other day. I sent them the link. They said they're going to watch it.
I have to do a better job, but when I do, I make sure I send links immediately. Last question I have for you, Taylor, is what does legacy mean to you right now? Not in theory, but in real life. Like, what does legacy mean to you?
Oof. I don't know. I feel like I was just asked to give a speech or something. Okay.
Let me
Let
get
me.
add two more pieces there.
Okay.
With
Give me
you
some more context.
podcast being what it is and it's being helpful for those that is they're indulging and our demo target demo and tips with Taylor being also something that you've cultivated that helps people plus your LinkedIn presence, like
Mm.
with all those things in the gumbo pot, what do you hope to serve them at the end?
To me, when I think about this question, my brain automatically goes to being able to serve. So, I already mentioned people coming and telling me that what you wrote really inspired me. What you wrote really helped me on my job search or really helped me with my journey through my mental health. Legacy to me looks like me being able to leave a lasting impression on people who I've never spoken to in real life.
Mm,
And that's why I'm so just honing in on my social media presence and that being authentic, because through that I've been able to recognize that I can touch people who I would never be able to see or meet in any other channel or circumstance. And so when I think about, when this, I know you said it not in theory, but when my time on this earth is up, I truly hope that people say that, hey, I never met Taylor. I don't know Taylor personally. I don't know anything about Taylor other than what she posts talking about all these tips. But in some of these tips, I have been able to see myself in her story and I've been able to feel a positive impact from some of the words she wrote or spoke. So that's what legacy feels like to me.
I couldn't think of a better way to end the podcast. I think that
Well, no,
was
you gotta answer the same
I
question,
got to answer
Charles.
the
You the one
uh,
that's gotta put the bow on the top because I know your answer probably gonna be more pivotal than mine. I feel like you're gonna say something
no, it's
about your
not.
children or something.
Your answer was fire. Damn. What does legacy mean to me right now? Legacy means I love your answer, to be honest. My goal is also to making space for people who may not even know my name. I'm just clearing space for people to be able to accomplish goals. I also want to sprinkle ideas. I want to be the man next to the man, so to speak.
Mm,
I want to be like I don't want I never want to be president, but I want to be the man next to the president, let him know like that's not a good idea. That's that
not you, the
or
chief of staff.
I want to do that because those people have the real influence, right?
They
I
do. They
want
be
I
making the real
want
decisions.
they always are the one because but I want to be that person. I always want to be the person who is making moves in the shadows and just seeing people achieve and being like, damn, I don't even know how I got here. And I'm just in my soul, I'm like, yeah, I helped that. Like that was my thing. For my kids, I want to be the reason. The reason
Mm,
my dad put me in this position. My dad showed me this. My dad taught me how to. I want to have like those isms when the kids grow up. It's like my dad used to always say, I want to have those right. Like the legacy to me is like my name being passed through to others from my kids. Professionally, I want to be the person who has been. If you've ever seen this, I'm not sure if it's a documentary, but like a biopic called The Black Godfather on LinkedIn. I mean, not on
yep,
on
I sure
Netflix.
have.
I love his name is Clarence Avant. He has been
My dad
influential in
loves that.
almost every black
Everybody.
celebrity. And it's like he
You
don't
would have
even
never
want no
known.
credit. You would never know. He's just in the shadows making moves. I love that. And that's what I want to do professionally. But personally, I want my kids to be like, my dad was the man. My dad did this and did that. So that's what I wanna that's what I want.
No, I love that. I love how that was a multifaceted answer. I appreciated that.
Is there anything that you expect? Nothing on but from between either one of us is gonna
That's
be
true.
singular.
It's always gonna be deep over here.
And here we are an hour later. I want to say thank y'all for rocking with us. Season 3 is going to be off to a great start. We want to always start with the personal, who Taylor and I are, where we are in this season, literally the podcast and our personal lives. And we have a lot in store for you for this season. So I cannot wait for you to continue to listen and enjoy and pass it to your friends.
Yes,
Pass it
please
to your
send it. Send
friends.
it. No, don't only send it to your friends. Send it to your grandma. Send it to your auntie. Send it to your dog. Matter of fact, put it on for your dog to listen to too while you leave for work. The dog can listen while you driving, and you can listen on the way to work. You see what I'm saying?
Something I always forget to do. Let me put my professional voice on. Like, share, and subscribe. We would love to have you and your friends subscribe to the podcast. For those of you who are new to the Care to Elaborate podcast, we are a space where Gen Z and millennials connect to talk about how to thrive, survive, and discuss how we got to where we are. We would love for you to be on the journey.
Yes. Also, if you feel so inclined to do so, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought. You can also shoot us a DM on Instagram, on LinkedIn. What else are we on? TikTok, at Care to Elaborate. So tap in with us over there too.
With that being said, we'll see y'all next week.